Okay, so here we're going to go over the tests and destiny matrix. So the big tests that I went through and that I've seen that are genuinely helping, not that they do much, but they kind of do help if you're trying to navigate through your aspects and how you work, in a sense, they kind of help, as well as get and give some ideas on how to and like deal with some of your aspects. Some of them are well known, some others not so much. So the first one we're going to go over is the Enneagram. So I came across Enneagram through the book of Winning Not Fighting, which is sort of as it goes into the book, and it says so in the book. It wouldn't necessarily juxtapose the art of war, but it uses some techniques, frankly, that in a sense juxtapose the ideas of art of war, because they use a certain also structure of fighting. It's kind of like an art form of fighting that they go over that kind of like interconnects with all of their doing, which is called Wing Chun. And that's the book where I first off got to know about Enneagram, because that kind of like popped up in there. As you can see in here, you have a few links to explore, but the Enneagram itself is the concept of personality typology, a system of classifying human personality according to general type. Has long been fascinated and studied. Here are various personality typologies today, though some professionals are still not convinced of their validity, since none can boast a truly scientific method. Nonetheless, tests like Myers-Briggs are commonly used by businesses, universities, and other organizations' personality evaluations. So there's also the 5-factor model, the Big Five, widely accepted personality theory, and psychological circus. But while the above theories are relatively new developments in the social sciences, an older system, the Enneagram has stood the test of time, so they say. But overall, it's the typology of human personality into 9 basic categories. So kind of like gives you some idea in here about the history of it, where it came from. And here are the 9 personality types. The perfectionist, also known as the paragon or performer. People of this type are generally conscientious, organized, principled, and orderly. They are concerned with morality, desire to improve themselves, detail-oriented, and struggle with the voice of their inner critic. These qualities can often make perfectionists appear critical or judgmental towards themselves and others. The perfectionist's basic fear is being corrupt, and their basic desire is to have integrity and to do good. Then there's the helper. Helpers are empathetic, warm, kind, understanding, and compassionate. They're confronting and optimistic and are easily flattered. Helpers struggle with always giving to others, sometimes forgetting to see that their needs are met. The helper's basic fear is being unwanted and unworthy, and their basic desire is to be loved. The achiever, also known as the performer, people with this core personality type regularly feel the pressure to maintain busy schedule and be productive. Attributes of efficiency, determination, and ambition are fundamental traits of achievers. They are competitive, image conscientious, energetic, charming, goal-oriented, struggle with internal vulnerability. The achiever's basic fear is disappointing others, and their basic desire is to be valued and accepted. So on and so forth. There's the individualist, the investigator, the loyalist, the enthusiast, the challenger, the peacemaker. So how exactly is all that working? So once you go into the website and you try to put in, answer all the multitude of questions, you're going to be having your basic typology. So it could be something along the lines, for example, as the achiever, number 3. And then they kind of put it in a sense that it's like number 3, and then they say wings. So those wings are kind of showing you how, in a way, you correlate and you have a specter of your individuality, in a sense. placed with how you have certain attributes to yourself. So it's kind of like number 3, wing 4, or wing 2, and it just kind of like shows you how you have the attributes of some other bits. So they're kind of interconnected, yet it's a messy structure. I genuinely tried to even read the book about it, and it was so, to me, it was quite messy to get through. That's why I just decided, okay, I got the general gist. Thank you very much. I'd rather move on. So in here, I also put out the general gist and the general idea of how it goes. And on the websites, you can genuinely just go in, answer the questions, and see exactly how and what you are. Then we have the Big Five. The Big Five is genuinely the biggest test developed in the 80s onward with psychological trait theory. So they put you in these like 5 big categories. So they sort of value where your openness to experience, your conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Sensitive, resilient, friendly, critical, outgoing, solitary, efficient, extravagant, inventive, and consistent. So then you have the full spectrum of how much of what you have, and based on it, they genuinely try to suggest to you the work or the type of job or career you should pursue or something. So it's also kind of like a little bit of getting to know how you are in a sense of like how that adds up with that test and how it looks like, for example, to employers or maybe to some certain companies and how to see it. So there's again a bunch of information on that. Then there's chronotype. So chronotype is basically unique to you. It's your sleep routine. It's your sleep, kind of like how much you sleep and what is your kind of like regime, your clock, your inner clock. So right now they're classified at 4. So there's bear, lion, wolf, and dolphin. Each type has their own kind of like time patterns they like to use in like sleep or staying awake, and that sort of kind of helps out in a general sense to see like who you are a bit more if you have never paid attention to it, like me at first. And then I managed to understand that there's a lot of people who are actually early birds, and here they're more like the bears. And that's how they're cool to be around. They're very productive, and they go to bed early and they wake up early. To me, it's freaking insane, but that's apparently how they are. And with the bear, the traits are happy-go-lucky, continuous flow of mellow energy, and extroverted. The productivity tip: schedule meetings in the morning and try to finish up before late afternoon. And celebrity bear is Oprah Winfrey. So the wolves are people that go to bed quite late and wake up. That's not necessarily true, but they're the late night, the owl type. So introspective, highly creative, introverted, get ahead on work at home while you're feeling most awake. So it's the amount of people who are more productive towards the late evening. And genuinely, we do not wake up anywhere near 7:30 in the morning unless we actually have to go to work. The lions, they also go quite early to bed. They wake up bloody early in the morning, which is freaking crazy. And they're natural leaders, charismatic, early risers, know when it's quitting time and take time for yourself at the end of the day. Richard Branson is like one of the known people. I like how in The Wolf, the celebrity wolf is Alexis Ohanian, co-founder of Reddit. Where do we spend most of our time? Then there's the dolphin. So it's the go to bed quite late, wake up quite early, and there's the traits of highly intelligent, scatterbrained, bursts of creative energy. If needed, take breaks throughout the day to mentally reset and recharge. And celebrity dolphin is Jackson Pollock. So it's kind of like with the dolphins, I would genuinely say that it's about more having kind of like ups and downs throughout the day. It's basically the people who like to take a nap in the middle of the day, and I do support that. So, but that's kind of like the highly creative kind, sort of like we're all creative, but those crazy ones, they just go like off and then they get on and then just do stuff, which is weird, in my humble opinion. So there's also the test about the working style. So that also helps you to understand if you're more logical or more organized, supportive, the big picture person, and how it looks like. So I did this test a while ago to see like where the hell do I fit in it, and the logical sort of like parts and whatnot. So if you want to know what kind of teammate, if you especially work in a group of people, kind of like where do you put yourself more, or what attributes do you have a bit more, so that you can utilize those to the best of your abilities. So not too far away from Myers-Briggs. So there's the logical type. Logical workers are extremely committed to seeing a project through to the end and using data to solve problems. They tend to buckle down and do whatever it takes to troubleshoot a problem, and they have a very linear approach to getting things done. A logical worker approaches everything like a puzzle. These workers thrive in challenging environments, especially when they have enough time to explore a problem from every angle. So the strengths to those are logical workers are committed, focused, data-oriented problem solvers. Weaknesses, because they are so focused, logical workers can sometimes struggle to communicate their processes or collaborate with others. They pair with logical workers tend to be solitary workers, but they can benefit from big picture workers who can provide them with a challenge to sink their teeth into. Then there's the organized type. Organized workers are extremely detail-oriented and meticulous. They are the color coders, the folders within folders, and meeting note-takers of the team. Organized workers plan out all the tasks and gather all resources before the project starts. Amazing people. Then there's supportive type. Supportive workers are the people of the team. They're the ones to know the right people for the job and who to connect to whom. Their work style is more emotionally oriented, which makes them the best person for keeping the pulse on any project, as well as handling HR tasks. And there's the big picture person, which is workers always have the next new idea. They often lead the team to consider creative and innovative solutions. Not only do team members with this work style create new visions and directions for the team, but they also excel at rallying others around their vision. So the big picture type is basically your hype man. It's genuinely the hype man. The one that goes around going like, oh my God, I got this idea, you better know it. And that's just how everybody gets rallied in, and you're just sitting there at the end of the day thinking, what exactly happened? I'm not even sure how we got here, but hello. And how work styles impact productivity. So with the logical, workers benefit from long periods of interrupted focus time, so they can devote their energy to the task at hand. Using clockwise to protect their focus time can help someone with logical work style optimize their productivity. Organized workers can maximize productivity by using tools that automate some of the more menial tasks that they need to stay organized. Automates, it was, I do apologize, but this was taken from a website, and that's why you get some clockwise links, whatever. But basically, any sort of cool apps that help you navigate through things or keep your time and basically ring at the end of like your planned work time, or some apps and AI platforms that help you with, getting things a bit more sorted. Supportive workers thrive in social spaces connected their fellow team members with each other. Slack, maybe social media. So it's basically like the chatty people, the extroverts. The big picture is meetings are where big picture workers shine because they are great at presenting their ideas as many people as possible. Using flexible scheduling. That or just recording some stuff and just sending it out to the people because nobody necessarily wants to sit in the meetings. We know it. So that is the bunch of things we can go through. Now we get to the MBTI, which is known as the Myers-Briggs. To some people, it's horrible, but genuinely, it's quite a fun thing to go into and to dive into. I mean, it's became quite popular lately, and in some countries they actually use it for not necessarily job descriptions, but that too, when they ask for a certain type of people to apply for the job and they expect a certain type of Myers-Briggs personality to to apply for the job, which was quite a mind-blowing thing for me to actually look at. But here we go. So MBTI personality types key. So extroverts, energized by people, enjoy a variety of tasks, a quick pace, and are good at multitasking. Introverts often like working alone in small groups, prefer a more deliberate pace, and like to focus on one task at a time. Sensors are realistic people who like to focus on their tasks and details and apply common sense and past experience to come up with the practical solutions. Intuitives are energized by people, enjoy a variety of tasks, a quick pace, and are good at multitasking. Thinkers tend to make decisions using logical analysis, objectively weigh pros and cons, and value honesty, consistency, and fairness. Feelers tend to be sensitive and cooperative and decide based on their own personal values and how others will be affected by their actions. Judges tend to be organized and prepared, like to make and stick to plans, and are comfortable following most rules. Perceivers prefer to keep their options open, like to be able to act spontaneously, and like to be flexible with making plans. So as you go through the test of Myers-Briggs, which is a bunch of freaking questions, you end up with your 4 letters. So there's that dichotomies of it: judging, perceiving, thinking, feeling, sensing, intuition, extroversion, introversion. And in this part it does explain a bit, and that is the ultimate cognitive functions of each personality type, traits, and the actual 16 personality types. So you get the 4 letters, each one signifying a certain type of way, and then it adds up to a bigger picture of like how to explain you in a sense, or how to kind of like make sense of what you are. So there's the logician. These individuals tend to be serious, matter-of-fact, reserved. They appreciate order and organization and pay a great deal of attention to detail. There's the defender, friendly, responsible, reserved. The advocate, logical, serious, hardworking. The architect, highly independent, self-confident, and prefer to work alone. The crafter, they love adventure, new experiences, and risk-taking. The artist, they have a strong need for personal space and time alone to recharge. The mediator, creative, idealistic, caring, and loyal. The thinker, described as quiet, contained, and analytical. I feel this throwing shade at me right now, being the INTP. Then the persuader, action-oriented, taking pragmatic approaches to obtain results and solve problems quickly. Entertainer, outgoing, friendly, impulsive, seizing energy from the others. The champion, enthusiastic, creative, energetic, highly imaginative. Debater, oh my god, described as innovative, outspoken, and lively. Director, responsible, practical, organized. Caregiver, warm-hearted, conscientious, and harmonious. Protagonist, responsible, warm, and loyal. And the commander, they like to take charge. And basically with the test that you take, you eventually end up with your 4 letters, and there's this little bit that adds up to it. So there's that, and then they do this hyphen and add A or T. So A or T is either assertive or turbulent. So that is also adding a little bit of like, are you a little bit more towards the logical side, or are you a little bit more chaotic? In my case, it's a little bit more of I guess, thinking part, as I was a bit more chaotic when I was younger, but with years it kind of like became more subtle in general sense, so I'll leave it at that. And then Destiny Matrix. I also came across this not too long ago. There's a lot of like stuff also, and they have this kind of like a life path calculator thingy going on, and they kind of sort of look like this. So you put in your excuse me, information about your birth time, yada yada, and everything else, and then in this Destiny Matrix you get your kind of like comfort zones, your generational lines, your years of stuff, and basically shows each year of your life sort of planned out, and what sort of energies affect those years the most, or where in between those energies that all is affected the most. And there's like the love calculations, the money calculations, and how that correlates. So it's been a ride as I went to try and understand it a bit more, because it's called the date of birth metrics. So it's a mess to me, but there's a lot going on, frankly. So as you can see, this explains a little bit of how it looks like and how it works. So there's the soul, human energy, there's the body, physical, parts, there's the summary, and each one of them correlates kind of like in numerology and does the magical thing of explaining you a little bit more of where's what affects you the most, which prolific year is more affected by what, and how to, in an easier sense, understand your fears or your insecurities and where it came from, as well as to understand a bit more your strengths, your attributes of what you can use for betterment of yourself, where to seek love, where to find finances or betterment of finances. So that does a bit of that. And with the Daystream Matrix, it's numerical chart used to better understand the strengths, weaknesses, and life path and personality of a person. So it's a messy chart, and frankly there's a few charts that are available for free to read, and there's a few charts that are absolutely mad with, I don't know, I would not pay that money for these charts. Genuinely hope that they went to be cheaper, but as it went, it was bad. But now there's a bit more people out there who specialize in it, who actually took their time understanding it a bit more, and some of the creators on TikTok, they're going to the lengths to explain this and that and what each number mean, and numerically how it affects what it affects. So it's something to look at basically, or do a little bit of digging and just use a little bit of these like a life path plan, Destiny Matrix compatibility with calculator, yada yada. So that is basically the few tests that could give you a broader picture on how to and what to. And if you do wish to try out them, I highly suggest just to give some ideas to yourself and to explore it by yourself. So that's that on the tests and the Destiny Matrix.